Hi, my name is Ann Koroknay, and this is my Module 5 final assignment, Identifying Academic Inequities for Adolescent Latino Male Students. I'm a high school English and ESOL teacher, and I wanted to look at why many of my Latino male students, both mainstream and within the ESOL program, seem to struggle in high school. Latino students are the fastest growing population group within American schools, and they present unique educational needs. Challenges are not strictly academic, but may also be cultural, economic, and linguistic as well. We will look at all of these challenges later on in my presentation. My presentation and research did not necessarily focus on English language learners or ESOL students. The Latino student population is a very diverse group, and they may include families that have been here for generations. Latino male students have the highest dropout rate at 14%, according to the National Center for Educational Statistics. They also have the lowest graduation rates from college and university. Changes must be made within the school community to address these inequities. The long-term effects can be devastating, and as this population grows, the effects will only be felt more severely. However, more importantly, we as educators owe it to all of our students to ensure and help them with academic success. I came across this article and was instantly drawn in, an opinion piece by Pedro Noguera from Education Week in 2012, entitled Saving Black and Latino Boys. It doesn't fit the requirements for this project, but it was a good starting point. He looked at African American and Latino males and identified an American problem that exists in urban, suburban, and rural schools across the country. What Noguera says was echoed in articles that I would later find, that Latino males have low graduation rates, low college attendance, disproportionate enrollment in GT, gifted and talented, or otherwise known as honors classes, or advanced placement programs. Latino male students are also more likely to be classified as learning disabled or placed in special education classes, even when they don't necessarily need these services. One of his most well-known quotes, "The problem is not who we serve, but how they are served." I love this quote, and it speaks to the social justice and educational issues that we as leaders within our schools must face. From Noguera's article, I started looking at other journal articles, research studies, and case studies. And I found through my research that examining barriers and issues and that many inequities exist, such as large class sizes, lack of awareness on behalf of schools, and socioeconomic problems. These are a pattern of inequities that can exist for all various population groups in different parts of the country. However, Latino males in all different types of schools, suburban, urban, and rural environments, second, third, and first generation and more, it was across the board Latino males seemed to struggle with these inequities. As I did more research and thought about my own experiences, I found common problems identified in research about inequities in education, specifically as it relates to Latino male students. They are at a path of higher risk behavior, higher dropout rates, and higher poverty rates, which can lead to higher unemployment and higher incarceration rates. When our schools fail our kids, this is what happens. And education and early intervention can help all students onto a better path. Again, from my research and personal experiences and observations, high dropout rates seem to be a problem. Few Latino male students, and even fewer graduating from colleges and universities. Huge academic achievement gaps between other racial population groups. Low involvement and low engagement in school, and a weak sense of belonging. From research, observation, and experience, I also identified peer pressure problems, negative influences, and a lack of academic culture that supports and encourages. This can be in school as well as the home or community. I also noticed that a disproportionately low percentage of Latino male students take honors, advanced, AP, IB, or rigorous courses, just as Noguera had pointed out in his article. And there's a lack of awareness from teachers who do not push or do not advocate for their Latino students to enter these types of classes. The first article that I'm going to summarize is Sanchez, Colon, and Esparza's 2005 article, The Role of Sense of School Belonging and Gender in the Academic Adjustment of Latino Adolescents. They found that a sense of belonging seems to play a greater role for Latino students compared to other racial or ethnic groups, and that schools place more importance on performance on standardized tests as opposed to socio-emotional needs of students. This can be especially true for our underperforming or urban schools that may have a larger Latino population. The socio-emotional needs of students are basic needs, and they all tie back to a sense of belonging and better academic achievement. The history of research that they identified in their article proves that a sense of belonging is a basic emotional need, and that the sense of community, and belonging related to school yields various academic outcomes. And their research has shown that a sense of school belonging was positively correlated with academic achievement, student success, intrinsic motivation, and effort. Their study showed that female students tended to perform better academically, and that Latino cultural values such as collectivism play a huge role in academic achievement. Motivated students will put forth more effort and have better school performance, and a sense of belonging increases effort, attendance, and motivation. They also used research to support the assertion that a strong sense of belonging has priority over needs for knowledge and understanding amongst motivation theorists. This sense of belonging must start with school leaders. In Sanchez Colon and Esparza's article, they claimed that a sense of belonging played a positive role in absenteeism, intrinsic value for, and expectancy for success in English and academic effort. Schools must continue to provide an accepting, respectful, and encouraging environment for adolescents. This is increasingly important and true for schools with high dropout rates and high Latino and other minority populations. Their article also found that the sense of belonging and socio-emotional well-being can be all part of the solution. However, more support is needed from school leaders, teachers, administrators, and counselors. Schools realize that there are gender and racial differences in educational achievement, but there is a lack of awareness from schools regarding educational obstacles faced by Latino males. So well-being goes along with more support and leadership from our schools, which brings me to my next article by Clark, Ponjuan, Orac, Wilson, and Flores from 2013, Support and Barriers for Latino Male Students' Educational Pursuits. They, like my other previous research, found that Latino students were more likely to drop out of high school and join the workforce, and that they are more likely to leave college before graduating. They also found that structural inequities within American schools disproportionately affect lower income and minority students, and this can be because of high teacher turnover rate, minimal educational support staff, overcrowded schools, and under-resourced schools. The purpose of their 2013 study was to look at perceptions of Latino students and how well school administrators and counselors understood the barriers relating to Latino male students. Gender, race, and socioeconomic level all converge to create unique barriers for male students. Most importantly, they found that there's a lack of professional development and training for teachers and staff, that simply teachers are unprepared for the language needs, the immigration concerns, communication with non-English speaking parents, and the cultural differences that can arise from working with Latino male students. As this population rises, fewer and fewer teachers are adequately prepared for these obstacles. Students also reported seeing their counselors very, very little, or that their counselors frequently gave inappropriate or inadequate advising. This weak counseling is another barrier that faces many Latino males in the public school system. There's additionally a need for more Latino or minority male teachers and staff. Their article also found 4 primary themes that were echoed in other research that I read for this project: that there is a lack of awareness of educational obstacles for Latino male students by educators. In other words, that educators simply are not aware of the obstacles that many Latino students face. Another theme is the role of Latino families in Latino male students' educational experiences, the impact of peers and mentoring on Latino male students and the positive effects that these programs can have, and also the positive effects of outreach programs and partnerships that focused on young Latino men. To create this supportive community, the role of family and strong peer relationships are so important for the academic success of Latino males. Mentoring programs, outreach programs, and strong community relationships, better school and family relationships, and all this research has long shown that parent involvement is important and positively influences academic achievement. So with the idea of the importance of family on the educational outcomes of Latino males being so important, my third article looks at the family-school relationship. There are three types of relationships between families and school: conventional, culturally responsible family-school community connections, and empowerment. This comes from Delgado Gaitan's 2012 article, Culture, Literacy, and Power in Family Community School Relationships. Delgado looked at immigrant families and their host communities and how they must work together. People communicate. There are different types of communications and forms of text, information exchanged, and language barriers. Utilizing culture and literacy from home and school, and that in many Latino households, literacy extends beyond written text. It involves the competent use of innate power in socially constructed contexts. There is power in the community and in being involved with schools, building stronger relationships between schools and home, and working together to support each other, not just coexisting. Conventional relationships are the most common, with parent-teacher conferences, back-to-school nights, and one-way communication. Culturally responsible family-school community connections build stronger relationships where schools and families work together. And empowerment is community organizing, parent advocacy, and supporting each other to make positive changes in their schools. Immigrant parents and families face linguistic and cultural discontinuity. Language barriers as well as culture barriers also, according to Gaitan, provide significant barriers for Latino male students. Strong communities helps the whole student, and strong communities meet all of the students' needs as well as supports the home. So my suggestions for school leaders are as follows. To create a positive school culture, we must have positive peer influence, supporting and encouraging staff, strong teacher-student community relationships. To lower the achievement gap, we must have more involved parents, and this can be especially helpful in the Latino community, since parents are such a huge part of Latino males' academic success. We need safe schools that value learning, and we also need schools that develop character and morals. Creating a welcoming and supportive environment will also help make all students feel as though they belong. More academic and socio-emotional support and positive male role models, especially positive minority role models. In my research, I was particularly moved by one example of solutions in action. The Wakefield Cohort Program at Wakefield High School in Arlington, Virginia supports minority male students. They provide academic support, lunchtime meetings and labs, guidance to take AP level courses and more rigorous courses, and they also work to build relationships with peers and teachers to change the mindset about school. With all of this, with the Wakefield cohort, they started in 2000 to increase the enrollment of African American and Latino male students in AP courses. In 2012, 1 out of 5 African American and Latino males were taking AP classes, compared to when the program started, and only less than 3% of the population were in these courses. 85% of the cohort participants have gone on to 2 or 4-year colleges or additional professional training. These are the words of the students in the cohorts, that it provides a brotherhood, a family, and they are motivated for success. This could be a model for other schools to follow. I thank you for taking the time to look at my presentation. Here are my references.